I know Trump is getting a lot of hate right now, but on behalf of my South African brothers and sisters, and on behalf of the continent of Mother Africa, I would like to thank President Donald Trump for his generosity and his foresight in resettling white South Africans in the United States of America because of the abominable way they've been treated. Let's get into it. South Africa is confiscating land and treating certain classes of people, aka white, very badly. It's a bad situation, a massive human rights violation. No. Who is going to tell this raging, thieving racist Donald Trump how white South Africans got this land in the first place? Who's going to tell him how, in a land that's 90% black, that white South Africans own 70% of the land? That's 70, you heard me right. Or that white South Africans still hold on to the economic power that they controlled during apartheid. And that includes through their ownership of land, mineral resources, and in many other ways. Or the fact that white South Africans still today benefit from a privilege and economic power over and above black South Africans because of that systemic and structural racism. And how did they get that? By committing genocide of black South Africans, by killing black South Africans for black South African land, by raping black South Africans, pillaging, stealing, denying them justice and denying them equality to the present day. These are the people that Donald Trump is calling victims. And the human rights violations happens against black South Africans, not white South Africans. These white South African farmers even have the temerity to ask for compensation. People, let me understand this. So, you steal land from me, I take my land back, and you have the caucasity to demand for, complain about compensation. Ha! Jesus. Hey, listen. You should be happy that all South Africans are doing is taking the land back. That they are not demanding that you pay for the loss of generational wealth. That they are not demanding that you pay interest for all of the wealth that you have earned, you and your ilk, from sitting on their land. You should be happy, but you feel you're all that. The utter caucasity. I would strongly encourage these white South African farmers to pack up their bags, get the hell out of South Africa, because nobody asked you here, no one invited you here, and nobody dragged you and your forebears to South Africa in chains. So please, go. No one's going to miss you. Go become refugees in the United States of America, a land that belongs to Native Indigenous Americans and a country that was built on the blood, life, sweat, and liberty of black Americans. Go on, that's your modus operandi, to go where you don't belong and take what doesn't belong to you. Sharp, move. Sharp, move. And go from being a refugee to a naturalized American citizen like your fellow white South African Elon Musk, the real president of the United States of America. What are you waiting for? Trump has made room for you. He has spent the first few weeks of his presidency deporting thousands of migrants, many of whom have worked, lived, and paid taxes in the United States and committed no crime. But they didn't have the complexion for the protection. And the only basis for giving the white South Africans refugee status, but not these other migrants, is because the South Africans are white. Oops.
I would say you, Donald Trump, you are even worse because your forebears came to America.
That's right.
They found the indigenous Americans. They wiped them out. They killed nearly all of them.
Right.
Rene, we are living as a nation, and black and white, we are going to find solutions for our land question. So Donald Trump must leave us alone. Donald Trump must leave us alone. When we were facing oppression,
Speak on it.
he was not here.
He wasn't.
He did not fight side by side with us.
No, he didn't.
And we were able, on our own, yes, with support of progressive forces in the world, to resolve the apartheid question.
Well. This is going to make you laugh. Okay, it's not even funny. They don't want to leave. They don't. Okay, they started the situation, they started everything, but they don't want to leave.
And top of the morning to you, South Africans and people of the world. So it would appear that whilst I was asleep, Donald Trump signed an executive order sanctioning South Africans. Now, the word sanction is meant to cause panic. right? We're supposed to be stressed. We're supposed to be, oh my God, what are we going to do? If you've read the executive order, there is no new information. He just said what he's been saying all these past weeks. He's stopped aid. We knew he was going to stop aid. We even spoke about it in the Sona yesterday, right? The only new thing is that he's given Africanas specifically. He said specifically Africanas, refugee status. So if they want to leave because they're being persecuted and life is so hard for them in South Africa, they have a home in America. And I'm sure most of us South Africans will welcome that idea. So I'm just here to tell you to enjoy your weekend. Do not panic. It's a Kansas City shuffle, okay? This is what Donald Trump does. Steve Bannon, who was in charge of his first campaign when he first ran for presidency, and then became his chief of staff, I think, and then was a you're fired, explained this in the media. Donald Trump's strategy is to bombard the media with a lot of things that he's doing. Hence, he signs like 10, 12 executive orders a day, right? Because he knows that the media can only focus and engage on one thing, and that one thing is usually sensationalist. So let's say that birthright citizenship thing that he's been doing. He basically said that even if you were born in America, if your two parents were illegal immigrants, you're also being deported. Guess what? A judge has already blocked that. A judge has already blocked him firing all those federal workers, right? It's all meant to cause panic, confusion, and make us focus on one thing whilst he does another, whilst he secretly signs what he really wants to do. What we should be focusing on is the things that Donald Trump is very quiet on. All right. And South Africa shouldn't be surprised that these sanctions are happening, because just this past week, he was meeting with Genocide Benjamin from Israel. And obviously, this is a retaliation because we, the Davids, took Goliath to court for committing a genocide against Palestinians. Right. This is obvious to me. So I just want to urge you guys to first and foremost enjoy your weekend. And to secondly, don't let yourself be pulled into this chaos of Donald Trump. Last thing, Africanas, please let us know when we can come fetch those title deeds for those farms once you've left, ne?
So Trump is offering to take Dutch South Africans on as refugees in the US. Apparently he doesn't have a problem with immigrants. Firstly, he says that this is because of the Expropriation Act that enables the government to seize ethnic minority Afrikaners' agricultural property without compensation. So he hasn't really read the act. I don't know if anybody in his office has read the act. Like, did anybody advise him on what it... Anyway, it says that the United States shall not provide aid or assistance to South Africa. And here's the kicker. The United States shall promote the resettlement of Afrikaner or Dutch refugees escaping government-sponsored race-based discrimination. I'm not opposed to repatriating our little Dutch problem, but not to another settled country, man. The Native Americans are going through a lot. They are all but entirely dispossessed there. Now they want to bolster European Americans with European South Africans. Selfishly, I'm like, oh wait, they're not here. But I don't want that for non-European Americans. It's not ideal. Anyway, let's go on. It says the Secretary of Homeland Security shall take appropriate steps consistent with law to prioritize humanitarian relief, including admission and resettlement through the United States Refugee Admission Program. Now look, technically these ones are refugees. Van Riebeeck wasn't exactly a high caliber individual. And so, it's like, the offspring of refugees and so on and so forth. And these were people who had fled Europe for various different reasons. And sometimes they were incentivized to come to South Africa to, bolster that European population. So, I mean, it's not like they now for the first time going to have refugee status. But I just want to understand, why doesn't Europe want to take her children back?
The same people that were coming on the internet and, trying to push a narrative that palmed South Africans are going through a journey in South Africa are the same people that are now doubling down on their claims. They don't want to leave South Africa. You know what? If you guys feel like you're not safe in this country, like it's so easy and you've been given a pass, you should just pack up and go. They don't want to leave. They don't want to leave. And in my head, I'm like, why would you be the same people saying all these horrible things about this country and still not want to let it go? Why?
They're now saying, well, white people, as they call it, don't want to be described in a racial term. We are Africanas. They say we own the most land in the country, which is false. So don't come with false propaganda, and I'm not speaking to you, of course. We love the media. We believe in freedom of the press. We are speaking specifically to those that now create some crisis and say now we have to go and disrespect property rights. It will create more problems than those they are trying to solve. We've seen in Zimbabwe, it did not bring prosperity that everybody in Zimbabwe now have land. We've seen hyperinflation. We've seen millions of people leaving Zimbabwe. We have seen the economic collapse, and we are seeing people that are unemployed at the moment in Zimbabwe. We believe the government should review its foreign policy. The two biggest trade partners of South Africa, the biggest one is, of course, China. The second one is the US. And as a country where our economy is only 0.4% of the world economy, we have to make sure that we benefit as much as we can in the interests of people in this country. What we are unfortunately seeing is a government that has moved away from a policy of neutrality. We need to be neutral so that we can trade with both China and the US. But we've seen a move towards anti-Western, anti-US sentiments, and we now are reaping the terrible fruits of that foreign policy.
It makes you question, why in the first place would you want to start lies and want to push a narrative that you guys are going through a journey in South Africa? Why? They thought when they say these things, they're going to probably get more money and sponsorships, and never thought about the economical side of it, because now with the sanctions that their big brother is trying to put on South Africa, like he pulled out from the US aid, he's also trying to pull out from the connection the US has been having with the South African economic system in a way of like trading, putting more laws in that area. And they are realizing, oh, wait a minute. Okay, we wanted you to intervene as the big brother, but hey, you're hurting us because this is our money. When it comes to them getting hurt, now they are doubling down. They are doubling down. And guys, the privilege South Africans have in South Africa, they cannot have it the same way in the Western countries, and they know it. The way they control things in South Africa and how they feel like they are superior to the black South Africans in that country, they know when they go back to their roots, which we clearly know it's in the Western countries, they will lose it all. They will lose it all. They cannot, guys. Insane.
Donald wants to relocate white South Africans to the United States, offering them refugee status. You are not dreaming. He has signed an executive order in the White House. Donald wants to stop US aid to South Africa because the South African government, according to Donald, is illegally seizing land. South African President Ramaphosa, of course, denies it and says, "We will not be bullied." Donald complains that whites in South Africa, who are settler colonizers, are being discriminated by the blacks. Donald has now successfully proven that his government is going to be a white ethno-nationalist one, maximizing the best interest of white people at expense of everyone else. Very grandiose and desperate, but good for the global south, because if everyone maximizes the best interest of their ethnicity, well, the browns of the world outnumber the whites by a lot. I don't think he thought that far.
So this is for all the victims of the white genocide that's currently taking place in South Africa. I just wanted to say to you guys that Donald Trump has offered you guys safe asylum, and like you guys have been saying for months and for years, that you guys live in unlivable conditions and you fear for your lives. And so I really, really, really encourage all of you to take him up on his offer. Honestly, like, the last thing that you would want is to be here. The last thing that you would want is to live in a country where you guys get treated so unfairly. And so I think it's best that you become a refugee in America. because it's not like you guys are leaving behind any privilege or any perks. It's just all around, it's terrible for you guys. So I really, really think that you guys should go, honestly.
I'm South African, and I think it's a perfect time to talk about a white group in South Africa that's getting oppressed. They don't have any cell phones, TVs, or radios, so they don't know that they can seek for refugee status in America. So I'm speaking on their behalf. I think it's gone far past the point where the American government can talk to the South African government. America needs to come with like planes, rush, get these people. They live in Orania, that is the town in South Africa. The state of their living is so bad that you need to just like take them, tell them, take anything of importance, and America's gonna save them. They're gonna live a better life in America. Thank you so much, guys, and I really hope that you save the people of Orania.
And guys, you know what is interesting about this is the fact that the same Trump that is signing orders and, you know, creating this fuss of, you know, kicking people out. Like, he doesn't want other people to be in the US, meaning even if you are legal as a child and your parents were illegal, you could be deported. But he's willing, as I talk about like on this platform, he's willing to invite his people in times of crisis. You get what I mean? He's chasing away the Latinos, the Africans, you know, causing a lot of things to Black American people. But when it comes to his own that look like him, of course, he's willing to give an open arm. Like, he's like, I'm here, don't worry. Your brother loves you. You know what? You are free to come in as refugees. Like, come seek asylum, come as refugees, come illegal. It's okay. I'm letting you do that. That's the world that we live in. So this hypocrisy is hilarious to me. You kick out people that actually deserve to be there because they've earned it, and you just want to accept other groups of people because, I mean, they are close to your best friend Elon and they look like you. Yeah, that's the game. But yeah, guys, that is it for me in the video. Thanks for watching. I can't add on this. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm always posting. I'll see you in another video. Bye.